Hello, photographers, and welcome to week 4 of Quarantine Art Photo Edition. Great job last week. It was really cool to see your submissions and see some of your DIY at-home photo studios showing up on Google+. That was really cool to see. First up, apologies for being a little bit behind on getting feedback to you on your weekly challenges. The grade 12s have had a midterm report last week, so I was making sure that they had marks for midterms and they had a whole bunch of assignments come in, so I was putting my focus into that. I am working over the next few days to get caught up, and hopefully you'll be all caught up on getting feedback from your weekly challenges, so apologies for that. So let's dig into this week's of Quarantine Art Photo Edition. We've got 3 new prompts for this week, and let's take a look at what they are. All right, so as always, you want to shoot for all 3 prompts as every week. I'm going to give you those 3 using whatever camera that you have at your disposal. The 3 are called Virtual Learning Portraits, and I'm going to explain to you what that is, Things Organized Neatly, and Candid Moment. All right, so those are your 3 photo challenges for this week. As always, you're going through that same creative process, looking at this video, taking a look at the links that I shared to get some ideas, and then taking a whole bunch of photos, sharing them to maybe get some feedback, and then giving me a physically distanced high five over the internet. The process I've broken down into weekly kind of format in terms of shooting and whatnot, so you can take a look at that if that kind of helps you guide your week in terms of what you should be doing on each day. Let's take a look at the ideas behind those 3 prompts. So first up, the main prompt for this week is Virtual Learning Portraits. That is inspired by an art educator that I learned about. Her name is Libby Beatty. She actually teaches in Seoul, Korea, I believe, and she in turn was inspired by the photographs of the photographer Greg Segal. All right, and these images are one exploration. How might an artwork show what matters to me in this moment? So she has a slideshow called Virtual Learning Portraits, which I've linked here. Okay, and this is the work of Greg Segal. Okay, so he does these photo series where he documents what children from around the world, what they eat over the course of a week. And so he lays them out on the ground with all the different kinds of food from different areas of the world, and you can see there's often like either a patterned or a plain backdrop, and the person is either surrounded by or there's an interesting arrangement of the food. And so the Virtual Learning Portraits takes inspiration from that, but doesn't necessarily have just food. What we are trying to answer there is what matters to us in this moment. So we're stuck at home, we're doing distance learning, it's the middle of the pandemic. What matters to us, what's keeping us sane and creative and connected and all that kind of stuff this week. Okay, I tried it yesterday. I did it with my wife and my son. Each of us did it. So I dragged a carpet out to the back porch. I use the back porch because it's nice, diffused, even lighting. And you can see that I've got I used a ladder from the garage, and I had a tripod, and I was like duct taping the tripod sideways and things like that to put, and I just shot with my phone. And that was the setup, and I did it outside because it had nice bright diffused lighting. It was in the shade, so I wasn't getting weird shadows. And here is my list of all the things that are important to me during distance learning. Everything from weights to my musical instrument and comfy sweats and my coffee pot and all that kind of stuff. So that is my final photo. I think if I were to do it again, I would have them fit in a different way on that layout in terms of organizing it a bit more neatly. This is my time-lapse video of me setting up my photographs. So I set them up all on this rug, and just to show you the process of what went through, and then I initially was going to do that lying down, but I liked the look of me sitting up and looking at it, so I changed that at the last minute. So there you go, creative process. Now, in terms of the other 2 prompts, one is called Things Organized Neatly, and all of you that are organized or like to see things visually organized, you're going to love this one. So Things Organized Neatly is an Instagram account and a Tumblr page, and it's a bit of a thing, okay? And it's very much about storytelling because it's a bunch of stuff organized in a neat way. Funny enough, and it kind of tells a story through the collection of stuff. So there's a slideshow in the Tumblr that you can check out. Give you a very quick preview of the slideshow. So Things Organized Neatly is essentially you laying things out. So here is like the tools in the kitchen laid out neatly, right? Lunch, crayons, sewing needles, okay, like either in a grid or an interesting way. This is awesome. Various levels of toast and how done they are, and setting it up. So those of you who are setting up like home studios last week, maybe this is your opportunity to try to use that for this challenge. Taking this out to the back porch and putting like a white paper or a cloth on the back deck, and using that natural lighting outside is another good way to think about that. So that's Things Organized Neatly. And then Candid Moment is a different tact. Candid Moment is about taking photographs of people in the moment, not being posed. So the other two prompts are superposed, right? So your virtual learning portraits, you're like arranging everything and getting a portrait, and Things Organized Neatly is the same thing with just objects. The Candid Portrait one is all about people capturing moments, that kind of thing. And Candid Moments is things that are not happening. So this is a slide deck that I'm sharing from a shooting challenge that we would be doing if we were at school. It's a Candid Portraits challenge, and it goes through what you're trying to do. So you're trying to capture people doing things, caught in the middle of an action, trying to avoid people staring at screens because that's hella boring. People talking to people, so you'd obviously have whoever you are quarantined with now at home doing this, trying to get them in their natural interactions, trying to ignore the camera, not having it scripted or fake, that kind of thing. Okay, so you're trying to avoid staged interactions because they're going to look super fake, things like that. And so there's some tips there. So I won't go through the entire thing. You can dig into that on your own, but that's what the Candid Moment is all about. Okay, as always, it's up to you how you interpret the challenges. So you can kind of take it into your, as a photographer and an artist, into your own creative directions. If you have some ideas and you want to bounce them off of me, if we were in class, you'd be asking me questions in the room all the time, so don't be afraid to email me out some questions. Okay, as always, you're going to share your work in the Google Photos album and the turn-in doc at the end of the week. The turn-in doc looks ever so slightly different. It's mostly the same. The photo of the week here, what is your strongest photo? And you're going to post that in there. This is a checklist for me just to see that you've completed all these steps in terms of sharing me an all shots link and a top shots link and all that kind of stuff. And as that's what we're doing as we're going through. Okay, so that is it for this week. As always, hopefully you have a great week. Can't wait to see what you come up with these prompts. Have a great week, Artsies. Take care.